Hello, and welcome to Magento Commerce Cloud. My name is Aaron Krass, and I lead the solutions consulting team for Americas for Magento. So today, I'm going to walk us through a number of different topics, as well as my colleague, Nate, a little later. I'm going to talk about our Magento product overview, jump into a commerce demo, and highlight a few key elements that make Magento unique and a powerful tool out there. And then a little later, I'm going to pass over to Nate to talk about our cloud hosting and technology that we're using for infrastructure. So Magento as a product suite encompasses a number of different elements that enable e-commerce businesses to sell online. We have Magento Commerce on the top of this diagram, supported underneath by a dedicated and powerful business intelligence tool, as well as a complex order management system that allows for unique or largely distributed fulfillment distribution networks for use cases like omnichannel, multi-warehouse, more on the complex side of order fulfillment. But today we're going to focus specifically on Magento Commerce. I'll show business intelligence, and we'll talk a bit about the cloud technology that supports the deployments here. So why Magento? So I'm going to go over a couple key themes or driving points as to why we see our customers choosing Magento today. Magento is a very unique platform in the space because we allow our merchants to constantly innovate and constantly try new things without a tremendous amount of effort to do it. So Magento allows you to actually customize every aspect of the platform, whether it's the checkout or it's a unique product view or product capability. Magento will allow you to dive into the code and start adding in any new capabilities that you need. To make this process much easier and significantly reduce the effort, we have created a marketplace where people that have created customizations or what we call extensions that want to share it outside of their business will be shown up or will be published on this extension marketplace. So you can browse thousands of different customizations or modules, we call them extensions, to be downloaded locally and auto-installed into your Magento environment. So what this allows for is a much faster deployment for those unique, custom-tailored features that may not come out of the box with Magento. We also allow for our merchants to choose their own upgrade schedule. We do not force upgrades on you. So if you have a flash sale at 9 in the morning and we decide we want to do an upgrade, we're not going to force that you are bringing down your site or updating code. We want to make sure that your priorities fall with your business and that we will provide the upgrade code to you, and then you take it and consume it and deploy it when it makes sense for your business. And then as we'll talk about a little later, Magento offers a very efficient and smart logical way for how to scale the infrastructure to meet the immediate needs of scale that might be coming to your site. Our theme, and as we continue to develop the product more, we put a lot of emphasis on two personas, and that's the business user as well as the technical user. We want to make sure that whether you know PHP or code or whether you are strictly a marketing merchandiser, you have the right tools in your hand to effectively run your business and grow your business online. From the business user tools, which we'll jump into in a minute, our goal is that the day-to-day maintenance and changes to run the business online will be available in the form of an admin interface, a GUI tool that a non-technical person can effectively use to run their business. While the developer is really focused on adding new features, adding new capabilities that doesn't exist. So we're separating the developer from the day-to-day so that if I need to publish a new image or if I need to create a new product, I am no longer dependent on having a developer or technical person help me out to do things like that. Speed and efficiency is one of the cornerstones of how we think about developing on our product. So we're always continually adding new streamlined processes to make page loads faster, to make the checkout faster, as well as making the developer experience more efficient so that developing new features and going to the next level of innovation is a much quicker process as well. So we will continue to make sure that this improves over time as we create new releases out there. So next, we're going to focus on the Magento Commerce toolset and what you can accomplish with Magento out of the box with its capabilities. But before I jump into a demo environment, I want to talk about Magento's multi-site capability. This is something that is a very powerful tool. It's very flexible from the Magento standpoint, and many of our customers out there are using this multi-site capability to do things like international expansion, multi-site, multi-currency. They're able to spin up new brands or flash sales, or maybe a VIP gated site. Many, many different use cases out there for taking advantage of this capability here. And it's a bit easier to understand initially through this diagram. And then as I jump into the demo, it may make a bit more sense as I'm talking through these terminologies. So at the top level, you can see the Magento instance. This represents a single code base, a single administration panel, a single database by which I can manage many different versions of the site as it's seen by my customers. And as I go down this hierarchy here, I start having the ability to branch to different experiences. So in this use case, you see here, this example, you can imagine a company that has two different brands, the Luma brand and Venia. Well, certainly we'll need different creative. Maybe it's a different product line, different customers. So I have all that controlled to segment or treat differently as I need based on different websites in our terminology. As I continue to go down this chain, I can start segmenting more and more what that end user experience might be. So within Luma, for example, I have maybe a primary catalog, and maybe I'm selling B2B to wholesale. Well, I can start segmenting pricing, what categorization looks like, maybe even a unique order grid for my wholesale customers. And then within my primary catalog, maybe I have a large German constituent of buyers. So I want to offer my site in German, displaying euros, as well as in English, displaying US dollar. So this is just an example here, but the key takeaway is that I can create any number of unique experiences, all from a single code base and a single administration panel. So from here, I'm going to jump into our Luma demo and start showing you some of these key capabilities that I've been mentioning so far. So what you're looking at here is a fictitious brand called Luma that we developed with the idea of being able to showcase native capabilities that you'll expect day one out of Magento. Now, this experience is fully responsive across 8 different breakpoints, from the homepage all through to checkout, to the customer's login, etc. We also include this as a reference theme or template when you sign up for Magento. It can be used as a starting point for your own unique designs, or you can start from a blank canvas. But a key takeaway here is that Magento is not going to have any restrictions on how the layout, how the design needs to be created. You're not going to have any restriction on the top navigation, whether the search is showing, how big the search is, how the specific product pages are laid out. All that can be configured in the design and in the template to match to the specific branding that you might have. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth between this view, which is the front end, the customer purchasing experience, and this view back here, which is the administration panel. Now, this is a web-based interface And this is the tool by which business users are going to be able to manage the site day to day. So you'll see on the left-hand side, we'll have these nifty flyout navigation menus for all the different various functional areas. Now keep in mind, all these different functional areas can have strict granular control on who accesses what. So right now I'm logged in as a super user, so I can see everything under the sun. But you can imagine that I onboard a new employee who's a customer service rep. Maybe I only want them to see my sales tab and information, and they really have no reason to be messing with our content or our reporting, so I can restrict that from their access. Now, the first topic I'm going to cover is the Magento catalog and catalog management. So if I jump into, let's say, our women's hoodies and sweatshirts category, I'm going to click open our Mona pullover hoodie here. And this is a good example of one of the various product types that exists in Magento. And this is called a configurable product. This is a use case where I have a landing page that a customer can select some options. So maybe I need a size medium, maybe I need that green. This can be other variants as well. Maybe I'm selecting a size of a watch, or maybe I am selecting the color of a makeup. All of those are different use cases where a customer needs to make a selection, but it makes sense to have it grouped together in this manner. As you can see here, we have things like customer reviews, which I can curate and edit. Something I want to call attention to is our instant purchase. Instant purchase was actually a patented capability by Amazon that expired around the end of 2017. And within a few months, Magento actually had this capability already in our product. And this is a result of the efficient and quick innovation from our developer community outside of Magento, who actually contributed this code to us free of charge. And that's a fairly common use case for us in that we have this extensive network of developers out there that are so passionate about the product of Magento and innovation that they will dedicate their time and effort to helping improve our product. So to continue this purchase, I'm actually going to just click the button Instant Purchase. And what this is doing is pulling in all of my saved information, because I'm a logged in customer at this point, confirming that this is my preference for this order. And then once I click OK, that order is automatically created. I do not need to go through a whole checkout experience in order to place that order. Now, just scrolling down the page here, I want to call out a few other key capabilities that, again, are native out of box to Magento. Things like wish list, product comparison, and related products, upsells, cross-sells, which I'll talk about a bit later. Now, I'm going to take us through a checkout flow to give you an idea of what that experience is going to look like. Once I open my mini cart, I can either come into my shopping cart directly. As you can see, I could have proceeded to check out from my mini cart. I have the ability to check out with multiple addresses. So let's say it's a gifting scenario. It's the holiday season. I want to use Luma as my one-stop shop. Well, I can place one order with each item being sent to a different family member around the country. Additionally, for corporate gifting, that might be a common use case for that. Now I'm going to start my checkout process here. And because I, again, was a logged in user, all of my information is being pulled in for me. I select my shipping method, which I'm pulling as real-time rates from UPS. And then the payment screen, Magento has a variety of different payment options available. For this demo environment, I've configured my saved credit card method. And so because I've saved my Visa with Luma, I'm going to go ahead and select that for checkout to make the process easier. Once I place my order, I have confirmation. I can always come into the My Account section to do a variety of customer-initiated activities or interactions with the Luma brand. Now, I'm going to spend the majority of the rest of our time in the admin here to give you an idea of what the day-to-day type of management will look like with a Magento platform. I'm going to start in our catalog management section. Now, this is a comprehensive view of every SKU or product that exists in my Magento environment here. Let's say I wanted to get down to a more specific sub-selection. Maybe I'm a merchandiser that is solely responsible for my summer line that's being released. Well, I can start narrowing down or filtering to any subset of products via any attribute that I select. This happens to be a subset of attributes that I've decided I want to search on. And then I can also select what columns or data points are important for me in this grid view. And as I check boxes, they're dynamically being added and taken away from this view here. And then finally, I have this ability to drag and drop these data points to get to that desired end subset of product view that I'm looking for. I can also save these views. So if I'm working just on the women's hoodie line, all of these are these saved configurations unique to me as a logged in admin that I can always continuously come back to make my day-to-day much more efficient. I'm going to click into a product, which is our duffel bag in this case. As you can see here, I have access to every piece of data that is associated to this product, including additional data points that I've created custom that are unique to this product. Things like, what type of activity do I want to classify this against? Now, coming back to our multi-site conversation we had earlier, I clicked my store view dropdown here. And in this specific demo environment, I've created, again, 2 brands with multiple languages. Now, for this specific product, the Joust duffel bag, I actually want to sell that on every single view of the site that I have out there. So if I wanted to make a change to this product only for my German store view, for example, or my German store, I can go ahead and select that from the dropdown. And now any change that I make on this product at this point is only going to change for that German store view. So again, a single interface, a single environment to be able to manage across many different sites that might exist out there. Now, when it comes to making site updates, I'm going to show an example through product, but this could be anything out there. Let's say I wanted to change the name of this product. Instead of a bag, I want it to show as a sack. Now, I can make this change reflect on the live site immediately if I wanted to, by clicking the Save button. This will propagate the data records to the front. This will, in a smart way, clear the cache element just for the name tag so that customers will now see this new change for this product. In reality, what I would probably want to do is schedule this change for a future release or a future update of the site. And I can do that here with our scheduling feature. What I'll do is give this update a new name. Maybe this is for a summer release. And then a specific date and time in the future that I want this to go live, down to the minute. So what this is saying is any change that I make now down below will actually take effect to the live site on June 15th at 1:30 p.m. exactly. I can also have a date to revert that back if I wished. Now, the power of this tool is that I can not only schedule these individual minute changes, I can also group all my changes together in a single update. So as opposed to creating a new update, maybe I want to assign that to an existing campaign or update that I have. Now, to visualize this a bit more, I'm going to jump into my staging dashboard. And what we're looking at now is essentially a calendar view of all the future changes or status updates that are going to happen to my site. These horizontal lines here represent all those campaigns with a start and stop date attached to the calendar. Now, if I click into this update here, I see that this is my 4th of July sale. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open my preview tab as well. And now what you're viewing is a fully functional, clickable non-public facing version of my site as it will exist on July 4th at midnight. As I can see, my homepage banner changed in this case. And this is going to be a great way to validate that my changes are actually showing up in rendering as I would expect, and do that in the persona of my customer. Now I can expand this tab at the top here now and jump to any date in the future to see what the site's going to look like at that specific date and time. So you can see I went to September 14th, and I can see my homepage change back to my typical woman yoga pose. I can also create a shareable link so that I can send this off to maybe others internally to my organization to validate and double check that what I've done is accurate and correct. Now at this point, I'm going to jump into the Magento CMS. So the Magento CMS is broken out into a couple different categories. One is the ability to create brand new landing pages with unique URLs, with the other being the ability to create chunks of content through blocks or banners that I can insert into existing pages. Now the tooling itself and the formatting is similar for both, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into our 404 page as an example. Now I'll call to attention again our scheduling of updates ability. This is not only for product, this is also for content. And if I expand my content tab, there's a couple different ways I can work with the content. I can see that I have a more traditional WYSIWYG editor type experience here. I can also work directly in HTML if I'm more comfortable or familiar. But something that I'm excited about is our page builder tool. Now this is something that is a future release item for us that we're expecting to release in our next major release, which is 2.3. But the idea here is that I get a much more visually accurate experience for what my customers will actually see. So the process of adding new content to this page will be such that maybe I want to add a row. I can segment this row into various columns. And then I'll use my left-hand menu here to decide what type of content I might want to use. So I can choose things like buttons or text or heading. And the way I'd add that in is by dragging and dropping it into the desired section that I want it to show up. So let's say I want to throw in a header tag. This is going to be a 404 page. I can add any advanced CSS classes or more basic things like centering or margin. And now I can see that starts immediately rendering for me. If I open up my media tab, I can drag an image to wherever I want it to show up. So let's say I want to upload a new image here. Let's make that my pants sale banner. I can have an alternate mobile view and then do some more advanced things like manage the SEO alt text. I can decide if I want a lightbox. What kind of design elements do I need to add to this image? And again, it will be showing up immediately and rendering as the customer would see it. I can access my product catalog from here. Drag in a new product. Maybe I want to display all this, my bag that we talked about earlier, and throw that in there. And as you can see, this is now becoming a much more effective experience for me as a designer. Well, admittedly, I'm not a designer, and that is probably obvious, but the designers, the marketers of the team will have a much more efficient way to start creating, manipulating, adding content to the site, again, without the need of a developer or without technical intervention. I can always revisit this, and it's going to continue to be drag and drop to get that desired layout or outcome that I'm looking for. Now, one final piece that I want to make sure I highlight is Magento's ability to offer unique, personalized shopping experiences depending on who that customer is or what that customer is currently doing. And we do that through what we call customer segmentation. Now, what you're viewing here is a few customer segments that I've previously created. based on rules that need to be met by the customer. So in this top section, I see that I've created a reward system where, depending on how much money a customer buys, how much money a customer spends, they're going to be automatically added into either the bronze, silver, gold, or platinum reward tiers. I'm going to go ahead and click into my platinum tier to give you an idea of how this is set up. Now, Magento uses a pretty robust conditional statement rule engine in a variety of different areas, from promotions to category assignments, but also for customer segments. So you can see I created this rule that says if a customer exists where their total sales amount is more than $2,000, they're automatically going to be added to this segment. Now I can, if I wanted to, continue to add to this as well. So maybe I want to say that they spent more than $2,000 and they're also in California. They're in a specific state. Or maybe I want to use their viewing history. So let's say they spent more than $2,000 and maybe they viewed a specific product of mine. And now, again, they will be automatically added to this segment. Once these segments are created, I can reuse this segment name of Rewards Platinum for a variety of different things in the site as it relates to promotions, content. So you could imagine that if a customer exists that spent more than $2,000 and also viewed one of my watches, I now want to show them promotional banners or advertisement banners for my top of the line watches, because I know that they spend a lot of money, they have deep pockets. I only want to start showing them the type of product that is going to get me the highest average order value from them. So there's as you can probably imagine, a million different use cases that you could think of here for, again, creating that unique shopper buyer experience depending on who that customer is. Now, finally, I want to jump back into our catalog, into our products, and talk about related products a little bit. Now, I'm back in my Joust duffel bag. I'm going to scroll down and open up our related products, upsells, cross-sells. Now, I can certainly associate products one-to-one if I wanted to. So maybe I know that the bag should always be associated to this messenger, this yoga bag, etc. But the reality is I probably want to do this a bit more efficiently and effectively. And so to do that, I'm actually going to start by jumping into the Magento Business Intelligence tool. Now, what you're viewing is essentially a data warehouse with a unique visualization layer on top to facilitate the creation of reports and the analysis of my data to gain deep, intelligent insights to how my business is performing. And we create these based on dashboards. These dashboards are going to be attached to different personas potentially within your organization, so that right now, for example, I'm logged in and landing on my executive overview dashboard. I'm looking at data that's interesting to me from a revenue perspective, from a dollar perspective. I can edit these reports, drag and drop, as you just saw, and see the information that's relevant for me. But we were just talking about related products. So what I'm going to do is jump into my category analysis section, because I'm the merchandiser that's trying to drive revenue through product recommendation. And here I'm now seeing business data, sales data on how my categories, how my products are performing. And if I look at this report down here, I can see that when people are purchasing men's shorts, they're actually purchasing tops more frequently than any other product line. So I'm going to use this report here to drive my related product strategy. And that's going to be based on real sales data as opposed to assumptions in my head that may not be accurate at the end of the day. Now, at the category level, if I jump back into the Magento admin here, instead of doing these product relations one-to-one, maybe I want to do them as a rule-based relationship to make my time more efficient as that merchandiser and free up time on my side to focus on other things. So if I click into my related products rules, I'm going to click into an example of women's hoodies and fitness equipment. I simply use that same rule engine that we looked at previously to decide, okay, if a product exists in my hoodies and sweatshirts category, I want to show products that exist in my fitness equipment category. And maybe I want to take that a step further and say, okay, great. Well, I actually only want to show products in that fitness equipment category that are more expensive than the product they're looking at. So if the product is in that category, it has to be more than 150% the original product price in order to see it. So I'm increasing, again, my average order value by only encouraging an upsell there. So today we've only touched on a very small percentage of what you can expect from Magento as a technology. I encourage you to go to our website, to reach out to us, take advantage of the plethora of tools that are at your disposal that are publicly facing to dive into the different functional areas that are relevant for you. And we are certainly here to help navigate that path. So next, I'm going to pass over to my colleague Nate, who's going to talk to us a bit more about Magento Cloud.